Hey, what's going on, everyone? It is David Palmer, Leo King, and we are here for a special deep astrology for this week of December 16th through the 22nd of 2020. And I am, as we are actually doing this video, I am sharing this because we are going live on all platforms right now because this is a big deal. This is the week of all weeks. Now, if you've never watched this show before, I am multitasking. Saturn must be in Aquarius now, having to do multiple things, and how does it all connect? We're going to be talking a lot about that. But if you've never watched the show before, this is Deep Astrology, your weekly your weekly astrology forecast for the collective. And of course, this is where I channel the horoscope for you, and then we go deep into the charts, which are brought to you by Astro Gold, which is of course on iOS, Android, and of course any Mac device. Or if you're on PC, check out Solar Fire. This is that awesome show. It's been around a long time. Of course, it used to be uncut. It used to be so many other kinds of different videos that I've done, but the big video I just did on Friday about all of 2021, this grand conjunction, the eclipse we just had, and how it's all connected, 4 hours and 50 minutes long. It's called Shattered Reality 2021. You do have a way out. Make sure that you check it out. Go to the paid video section on highvibe.tv. Now, we have the apps down below. You can watch it on the apps, of course, but you can't buy it on the apps because on Apple and on Google stores, they don't want you buying unless it's a movie under, the movie section. So, go to highvibe.tv, we have a paid video section, and then of course purchase it there, and then log into the apps that we got, and then boom, there you go. You got 4 hours and 50 minutes to help you understand what the heck is going on coming into this shattered reality that we have been in, and possibly how are you going to handle it going into 2021. So, here we are. This is the big week, and I just need 1 second here. There's all this echo going on because there we go. There's all this volume right there. Boom. See, that's how you got to do things around here. So, this is an important week, I got to say. I've done this a long time. Maybe I'm not the oldest astrologer around the block, but definitely when it comes to, doing this on video and, as a YouTube astrologer and a television astrologer, I got, 10 years under my belt here. So I've been doing it, and I've been doing the horoscope every day, and I've been doing the horoscope on video every day, and I can say, geez, I've done a lot of these weekly horoscopes and daily horoscopes, and this is the week that blows my mind out of all weeks. Remember the days when I would do an energy meter, and I'd be like, okay, it's at low, or it's at medium, or it's at high, and oh, it's at extreme. Well, this is Fate Train with both arms tonight up for this week, baby. Boom, boom, extreme, extreme. That's because we just had a solar eclipse, right? Bang! At 23 degrees of Sag. That was a big one on Monday. And then here we are. Saturn is actually in Aquarius as we're talking right now. That's right. Saturn is done with Capricorn. And we are happy. Remember that Capricorn, Saturn? Yes, it's good. It's at its home sign. But it definitely can feel like inside you've got a lot to go through barrier-wise, karma-wise, especially karma. The karma that we are in is extreme when we're in Saturn and Capricorn. That is done. That is 3 years. Remember that it was December 21st of 2017 that Saturn went into Capricorn with the sun. So that was quite a transit we all had to go through for that last 3 years, and it is over. It's now in Aquarius. Now, Aquarius is also the sign of Saturn. That's because, that's a whole long story, but of course, Saturn's daddy is in Aquarius' house. So, Aquarius is Uranus, of course, and Uranus now is the dispositor of Saturn, where Saturn's been in its home house, so it's been like, okay, I'm very Saturnian. Now we're in very Uranian energy. Jupiter this week, coming into as well Aquarius. That's a big deal because they're both going to meet up in conjunct on December 21st, but we're going to see days before that on the weekend here, boom, Jupiter coming into Aquarius, and this is really good just because of the fact that Jupiter hates Capricorn, right? It's at its fall position. We've got the Sun and Mercury making their cazini, right? We're going to see Mercury conjunct the Sun on 28 degrees of Sag and 29 degrees of Sag. This is where the galactic center energy is, everyone. And of course, we have a solstice on December 21st with the Sun coming into Capricorn. And that's a big deal. So we have a lot about covering this galactic energy while we have Jupiter and Saturn meeting up in Aquarius. And Jupiter is loving Aquarius because it's like, oh, I'm out of the chains of Capricorn world. And Jupiter and, Uranus have actually a much more better relationship. Grandpapas and, I guess you could say grandsons have a much better relationship sometimes than father and son, believe it or not. And that's how you have to look at it. But I will say this. We are coming into a period that I'm going to be very honest with you. Talk about shattered realities. Remember that Uranus is in Taurus. It's the only planet that is retrograde. Remember, Chiron just went direct in Aries. There's a lot of energy moving forward right now, but Uranus is not. And Uranus and Taurus, this is the one place that Uranus does not like to be. It's the fixed Earth sign, and it reminds me, I always say, it's like the Sentinels in The Matrix, right? It's like having to burrow through all these little weird AI android things that burrow through, like Tremors. Remember the movie Tremors with Kevin Bacon? Like that, like through things. But with now Uranus being the dispositor of Jupiter and Saturn this week with this conjunction, oh boy, talk about a fixed reality and stability. So you thought we were in stability, right? Actually, if you think about it, 2020 has actually been pretty stable. Even though maybe it's been unstable in the fact of not knowing where things are going or, but there's all these predictabilities there. There's no predictability in Aquarius, literally. What you think will happen will not. And of course, at the same token, we are dealing with, a physical reality going into so much crazy shambles. It's like, what? And especially financial markets and trying to understand where the world's going and where you think people are in your life. This deals with a world energy too, but with Uranus being this dispositor in Taurus, this is going to test your self-worth now. Capricorn taught you a lot about, where that self-worth can take you at the end of the day. So that karma that's been reaped with a Jupiter-Pluto, a Saturn-Pluto, and of course, Jupiter and Saturn met at the last degrees here, and they are meeting at the last degrees here of Capricorn here. They did Wednesday, but now Saturn's in Aquarius, so I can't say that anymore. But this is extreme when it comes to learning where your value goes and what the payoff is if you're willing to put the work in and achieve it. But now we enter into Aquarius. It's like, okay, what standings do you have in the world, and do you know people, and how we're at such a time where it's so funny they're telling you not to connect with anybody in the world, literally, unless it's through digital means. This is going to be a weird reality that's trying to change, but there's a lot of resistance to it, especially when it comes from the physical realm, saying, whoa, I need touch, I need feel, I need physical things in life. That's Taurus, right? And our value and our worth, right? We still want to get our haircuts. We still want to, we still got these things. I still want to touch my hand like that to make a noise, you know what I mean? Man, I can make plenty of other noises in life. We good? Oh, you just click it, and then push space bar. We're all good. It's all good. So we want that physical thing in life. And just even like this, how the show started and now it's going, that's what we're coming into. So, instability. Things that are not going to be to plan anymore. And especially with Mars this week in Aries, that's going to square Pluto. Talk about things trying to get jammed into you. You know what I mean? Like, oh. I really question that because remember, the mad scientist energy comes out with all this Aquarius energy, square Uranus and Taurus. That means that, we forgot that one thing that was important to the physical realm. You had a really good genius idea, but you put too much of that in or too much of this in, and there's an explosion of the, it's a little bit like, I don't know, I'll be honest with you. It's like making the blue meth on Breaking Bad and doing it in an RV. That's what they're trying to jam into you. I was going to say, you know what? I'd probably take the stuff on Breaking Bad over that other stuff. For real. Because it's like, we don't know what this all weird energy is. We don't know what's trying to do that. There's a lot when it comes to this, AI, or when it comes to weird things dealing with frequencies now. The frequencies in the physical realm are going to go haywire. Also with weather patterns, no, it is not because of what is coming out of the tailpipe of your car. It is coming up from what's happening with the sun. It's coming from energies that we don't even know about. Possibly, some people like to talk about aliens. The disclosure energy is going to get crazy here. The energy dealing with where you think things have gone in life are not going to go where you think they're going to go. And I've been saying this for a long time, and it's been very hard to bite my tongue and just keep saying it and keep saying it because there's those that see it, there's those that feel it, and there's those that know it's all about to do that. Okay, so everything that you thought and it looked all okay, everything's set in stone. Yeah, right. Uranus and Saturn in square now, Jupiter coming into Aquarius. It's got to flip the lid on all the shit in life. Just like, blah! But it also means that you need to make some sort of change that your physical reality, in order to move forward, your Uranus moves forward, you're going to have to make wild and crazy changes. You're going to have to bring the rebel out. You know what? I've been waiting for this moment for over a year, maybe 2 years. When I was building High Vibe, I said, we are not going to go down the normal spiritual route. We are going to be the wild and edgy and crazy and different energy. We are not going to be that typical place. We are not going to do that. That's not what that's going to be meant. And if you look at the world today, especially all this political stuff we've been going through with all this Capricorn energy, oh my gosh. See how easy it is to see even the spiritual community fall in line with like, okay, I'm going to go down this road. I'm going to be, this is what normal is. That's what they tell me on TV. Blah, 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 blah. My God, scary. We got to remember that the sun is coming into Capricorn. So we still are going to have Capricorn. We got Mercury coming into Capricorn. But this is going to be a pretty refreshed out Capricorn energy of Jupiter and Saturn, both dealing with different kinds of karma and the gifts we get and the payoffs we get from the work, and also more importantly with Jupiter and Capricorn, it's like, did you see the big vision in one destiny, or did you try and keep searching for a million roads, or try to play a different million roads, or were you just getting on a plane always trying to go to Tulum and go to here and just escape doing the work, fixating on some place, a cardinal energy of that, I'm going in this direction. And Aquarius is about fixed energy, so I'm going to be very blunt. You wouldn't probably want me to be anything else, you know what I mean? Unless you want to go somewhere else and watch, spiritual stuff. Because they're giving you a lot, a lot of memes. It's good. But if you want the real shit, I'm here to tell you this. Fixed energy, Jupiter and Saturn, when they met last time in May of 2000, guess what? Fixed sign, Taurus, 22 degrees. Jupiter and Saturn now, 20 and a half years later, are meeting in Aquarius at 0 degrees Aquarius, which already the 0 degree mark is the cusp. And we just did have Jupiter, Saturn technically in Capricorn. So let's not lie. And let's not try and say that, ooh, Jupiter and Saturn in Aquarius, right? It was also Capricorn. Maybe not to the exact moment when Jupiter passed Saturn from our view from Earth, which I'm going to show you in the 3D chart. But what I'm trying to tell you is it's been Capricorn. And now it's Aquarius. And I will say this. Fixed energy. You have to know your meat and potatoes in your life. Or for the vegans out there, your beans and rice. I don't know. You know what I mean? But you got to know that fixated energy in yourself. Because with Uranus and Taurus now, this is going to be a very Uranus and Taurus couple years with Saturn and Aquarius. And the next year with Jupiter and Aquarius. And I think that you need to remember that with the South Node being in Sag, the whole year of 2021. With Jupiter getting ready to square Uranus and Jupiter with Saturn, you just can't still just kind of believe the old ways and the old beliefs. But at the same time, as we're progressing into the new, we can't forget about what are the fixed values that make us human, that make us true to who we are as a collective. So, we can't start taking mad scientist ideas and taking them too far. Because we are going to become, do you think it's ironic that they make all these movies like X-Men and all these weird things and how they put it out there to people as if like, oh God, it's kind of normal. There's mutants walking around and stuff. Do you really want to be a mutant? Do you really want to be taken over by that kind of energy? You got to watch out who you're following. And that's what's hard, right? I'll just be very blunt right now, right? It's like, okay, both sides of the political are posting like, yes, we're so excited about this thing that they're trying to jam into your arm. Let's be honest. Both sides. That's kind of scary. You know why? Because I predicted this. Somebody I put it on my Instagram. I don't want to give away everything I put in that 4-hour and 50-minute video, but I predicted that they're going to be making it look like this is the greatest thing ever. And somebody sent me an Instagram of all these people outside a hospital as they were like shuffle dancing with masks on, and it was just like, yeah, it's here. Wow. It takes 10 days if you look at it for it to even supposedly start to take an effect. We haven't even reached that 10 days yet. We're on like day 2. We don't even know what's really going to happen here. And I think, somebody else put a meme up. It was like, okay, so I got to take this thing and I still got to wear a mask for the whole year? And I still got to do all this? So what's the point of me getting this thing then? It's kind of like, this idea of the savior energy is that you're here to save yourself and make sure that you're not the experiment. That it's time for you to experiment in things that bring you value in your life, that is from your own value. It's okay for you, and I'm going to just say this, and this is the most triggering shit ever. And you know what? Aquarius is a triggering energy. And you know what? Jupiter and Saturn are in opposition to my sun, exactly at 0 Leo. So I am one of the forces out there that will trigger people, and that's my job, to remind you about being a fucking loving, huge, heartfelt human being. And to not forget to be a courageous human being, because if you are not courageous, then what are you? You are just a pure, I don't even know what you would be. I wouldn't even know if I would call you pure human. I would just say that you are just a follower. Because we got to be careful with Aquarius, with Saturn and Jupiter. You just don't want to just follow what's ever going on with Uranus and Taurus being like, I got values that need to be met, and if I don't, then I don't think I can move forward with life or feel excited about life. And those values, and what I'm going to say that's triggering here, because it kind of is, I'm just going to be real with you, all right? So we don't want to follow, number one, because that's just stupidity. Because especially being an experiment is something that we don't want to be on, okay? But the main thing here is, one, the disconnection from your values. The disconnection from realizing that in order for you to really break through, which Aquarius does, and with these squares to Uranus starting to begin, and now that the dispositor of anything in Aquarius right now, and especially Saturn being in Aquarius, will be Uranus, right? And it's in Taurus. You're not going to build the life that you want. And when it comes to money, and when it comes to staying relative with physical, at least some sort of stability, the more you follow, the more you're going to come into complications, which means that this is about your own values. And the most triggering thing that I have to say is, it's okay if you do not think that, 19 is not that important. Because anybody who's going to tell you that it's not, they're trying to be your value system for yourself. And anybody can try and tell me that I'm a bad human being. I'm not saying even what my values are. I'm just letting you know that who's going to start telling you about your values, because that's what's happening. When you have Uranus and Taurus, guess what? It was a man named Adolf who is telling everybody what the values of that place should be. And guess what? Everybody followed it. And everybody got weird on everybody else if they didn't follow that. And we can see that from both sides of the political aisle, because I already know there's people right now, I can already feel you. You know what? I love when I do these shows and my guides start coming through and I can actually feel all of you on the other side of the collective. Both candidates do it. So you can look at it from both ways. Don't get sucked in and think that your side's more justified than the other side. When it comes to, the idea of where the world's going or your country in your life, okay, we can have those battles. But when it comes to remembering a higher vibe and the true spiritual essence here, your side, whichever one you're on, is both on the side of trying to tell you that your value about this weird thing around the world, and you have to value it more than anything else, and you have to change your life, and you must take this thing, but we'll give it to you for free. We're also giving you for free not being able to have a life. So, start thinking about that a little bit more right now and realize that the revolution that you're looking for with Jupiter and Saturn and Aquarius is the revolution. It's the revolution. It's the revolution to be free to say, I like blue cars. I don't care if I don't want an orange car. I just say that because I have a blue and an orange car. You know what I mean? But it's like, you know what? I never said I would have those, but I got those. How much have we seen this year? Especially, remember, Saturn was in Aquarius in 2020, right? how much have we seen this year people telling us what we must value more? We saw it in organizations. We saw it in protests. This is the triggering stuff I'm going to say. This is, but I'm using astrology here. It doesn't make me a bad human being to have you question things with the North Node and Gemini. Because you know what? I just saw on Twitter, somebody literally, on some of those astrologers on Twitter, I'm just going to say, man, is that just like just bash parade on there? Just like, and have this like, you know what, ethnic cleanse of astrologers? Ethnic cleanse of astrologers who don't agree with anything because, and without even saying anything, just their own perspective. Somebody had wrote a comment to an astrologer I know, being like, oh, there's this one astrologer who talks about his Mayflower history, like that's bad when it's the anniversary? One, and no, my family didn't have slaves. You can go down the whole list. Two, that I was touting off some American hillbilly flag that was upside down. The computer was upside down, and I was in the freaking United States Navy in VFA 151, and that's the fucking slogan on the freaking squadron. But that's the kind of crap that's going around. You know what I'm going to call out right now? This astrology community is being so weak, so lost, so lost, and oh my God, got to ethnic cleanse everybody, and who's the right side, and all this crazy crap, and all lost in what has been put out there, and has all been sheep. Sheep. There's some that aren't. There's some that fucking are doing this work, that are showing up every day. And it's the ones that just type. They can't talk. They can't bring it up. They can't step on a camera, step in front of you and deliver you all the truth. They can't express their true values only through sitting at their gaming computer with their gaming chair. That's all they can do. They don't know how to do anything else. And it's really upsetting to me when I hear that kind of stuff and I read it more because they can't even say it. And you know what? That's the world we're living in right now. Is everybody's trying to tell you what you should value more. What you need to value this more. You were this, you were that. Guess what? 2021 is going to get much more crazier. Because of people and their low self-worth demanding others. Taurus, Uranus, square Saturn and Jupiter, because they don't got the goods in themselves and they want it from you. And if you rise up right now in this life, they want to take you down like a lobster. That's what's going down. You think that's a high vibe? The high vibe right now is to say no and know your value now, because it's going to be Uranus, Taurus. And no, if you're trying to come into my country like it was in World War II and bomb it, and you don't have your means of going against that, then don't try and push against it, but also don't sit there and accept it. And don't start putting yourself on a pedestal over your freaking identity politics when we're all trying to all be humans on the planet and get through the dark that's trying to suppress all of us. Seriously. Have we forgot about that? Did the whole astrology community and half this spiritual community forget about that? Or does everybody just want to call people that question Q now? Or does everybody just want to assume, what is assume? ASS, ass out of you and me. It's sickening. It's over. You can get over your little Capricorn weird shit that you've been trying to fucking act like you got some sort of big fucking, whatever, slob on your knob for feeling good about feeling authoritarian. We're done with authoritarians. And if anybody else in this community and anybody else in the whole entire astrology community wants to try and be authoritarian anymore and start demanding that people are this and people are that for expressing questions about what's going on in the world right now, you can suck it. Straight up. Because Aquarius is not going to accept that crap. And no, it's not going to be, I read some of the other stuff, like, these people don't even understand what Jupiter and Saturn Aquarius is. as if it's just going to be some sort of one race that's going to take over and get all these great goods. No, the race is humanity. That's what the race is. And I'm sorry to say, we live in a world where I'm sorry to say, if you were to run the DNA of all of us, gosh, we got all of us in us from all over. Let's be real. And I know this is so triggering to hear for some people, because I have empathy, though, for what you've gone through. But I don't even know what you've gone through, and you don't know what I've gone through, unless we've all been in each other's shoes. So we got to have empathy. We're willing to listen, but when it's like becoming a complaint, and when it's becoming so tirelessly, you know, it's like there's so many things right now we should be redirecting our energy to. But Aquarius, before it can get everybody in a line, which is very hard with Uranus and Taurus because everybody have their values. And most people, those values are insecurity. Or what I didn't get. When Taurus isn't about what you get, that's Scorpio. You can be born under a line and get money under Scorpio. Taurus is about the work you do yourself. You don't look good just from genes. I know plenty of people who look good, did plenty of fucking the blue stuff from fucking Breaking Bad, and look like hell right now. I know plenty of people with whatever genes who look whatever and found a way and found a good surgeon and look amazing. Guess what? That's fucking Taurus. Guess what? What you do with your life and what you do to make shit happen is Taurus. Not all about what you were entitled with. Sorry to say. That's just the truth. Maybe you forgot that about Taurus. It's all about the farmer that works. No farmer's better than another farmer. Guess what? It's the farmer that gets up at 5 in the morning, 4 in the morning, is on that tractor and making it happen. And then the ones that are sleeping in and missing out and tired and don't know how to do it and just, you know what? That's a little truth. So this Jupiter and Saturn in Aquarius, as they're calling the Christmas star, is the Christmas star to remind ourselves that this world needs a shock to wake it up. And it might not be a shock we like or that we're wanting to hear, but it's a shock to see if you have the power within you to understand that, you know what, are you going to let go of all of your really backwards, pulling yourself down in your self-worth energy that doesn't align with learning how to connect with the collective? I'm just a Leo that's going to call it out. Because it's a joke. And it's going to take a lot for us with this. A lot. Jupiter and Saturn last for 20 years. Jupiter and Saturn don't mess around. That's the two biggest planets. This is air sign. This is intellectual. It's Aquarian. And yes, it's about the collective. But you can't have a collective if each individual doesn't know their own individual power and that they don't blame shit on anything else. They don't blame it on where they came from. They don't blame it on anything else. They fucking find their value within. That's what's hard about Uranus and Taurus. Go look at the complaints, and I understand they're hard when we see them in history. But there's also so many stories of people that were in the same places that did different things. And it's how they handled it. It's how they handle it within themselves. And that's just fucking truth. And what happened to truth? Got lost in believing and trying to give people perspective in a way that, is just not truth. You can feel truth. It's not fucking written out in 160 characters or whatever it is on Twitter. That's the other thing about this world, too. That this week, with the sun coming at this galactic center and meeting with Mercury, and Mercury's at its fall or its detriment here in Sag. People's minds are trying to search for things when the universe has already delivered you with Jupiter and Saturn and Pluto in Capricorn, the destiny that you know you must take, but it's whether or not you've got that that ability to be able to do it? Or did you waste your energy? Did you waste your time? Because now we're never going to see that much Capricorn in our lives. I'm sorry to say. That whole idea of I'm going to be really successful and all that shit, well, where did you end up here? December 17th through December 19th of 2020. That one's kind of a hard one to really take in. Because how you establish yourself and how you set yourself up and prepare and use the energy and use the transits and understand how to navigate and how to make sure you're in alignment with destiny is everything. Now Aquarius is, I need help, I need help, I need help. And that's what the water bearer does. It's like, okay, you need water, but the water bearer is not here to go, I need to go back and give you more water when you were already given water. No, I got the whole collective to take care of. And we can't be intrusive on our humanity by just sitting there and going, I need more, like a whining little baby. I need more. I need more. I need more. I didn't get enough. I want more. If that person got this much, I didn't get that much. You get exactly what you need from God all the time to make the greatest life possible. And that is the biggest lesson that is coming. And you want to talk about a Christmas star? It's the ultimate gift that the universe gives you what you need. And it's what you connect with and what you do with it. But if you're going to go be some crazy activist in a way right now, that's not aligned with truth, but aligned with your depressive values and self-worth, and more importantly, especially with the South Node and Sag about the beliefs that are going around and what everybody else is doing, because this is the follower that realizes that they're part of an experiment. Not God's experiment either. Other people with plans and agendas. And so Mars this week square Pluto, you need to get to the very bottom of where your insecurities are with your courage, with your identity. This is Mars on Aries. So yes, it's angered up. Yes, this brings up military for those that want to know. Yes, it does. Big time. I've been talking about it. The last Mars retrograde in Aries, fully all the way through. Retrograde in Aries, direct in Aries, staying in Aries. Yes, was 1941. Yes, ended in November of 41. Yes, 5 degrees after it left its shadow period at the beginning, where it went direct, was Pearl Harbor. Yes, something weird's about to go down. Yes, when Uranus went into a new sign like it did fucking on, March 11th of 2011, we had Fukushima. Now, yes, that was at 0 Aries, but guess what? The sun, when it comes into Capricorn on the 21st of December, is while at the same token Mercury will be just into Capricorn, Jupiter and Saturn meet in Aquarius at 0 degrees of Aquarius, and then the moon at 0 Aries squares the sun. I'm telling you, Fukushima-like energy, not exact, I'm just saying the energy of a shocking energy is coming. I am giving you my warnings now. And it's gonna have military. So, wake up! Because Capricorn, we get tired. Capricorn, we get old. Capricorn, we become cranky. Like some cranky person is like, I'm gonna just, And Aquarius is like, wake up. Wake up. Wake up and rise above all this petty shit. All that matters is the most important value that you can only find within yourself. And when you try to expect that from another person right now, and with the South Node in Sag, with the Sun finishing in Sag at the Galactic Center, and Mercury finishing at the end of the Galactic Center here with the South Node, if you just keep trying to change somebody's perspective to see it the way you want to see it, and with Chiron that just went direct in Aries, you're not going to get it, and you're going to keep fighting for something that nobody's going to all see the way that you want to. The collective is divided in Uranus and Taurus because everybody has different values, and I'm sorry to say, not everybody wants to know exactly how you feel all the time. It doesn't make them not empathetic. They're dealing with their own shit. So if you're just going to sit there in this major place of just, hoping that everybody's going to do and see things for you, and what's sad is everybody offers it, and it's not good enough for you. That's when you know you're on the wrong side of the tracks. And this is Saturn still ruling governments with Jupiter, which rules trying to get that higher wisdom. Well, I guess we're going to try and figure that one out. It was 2000, the last one, and we thought one person was going to be president, and another person turned out to be president. It was the night of the election with Trump, right? November 8th, I think it was, 2016. Then Mars was at 29 of Capricorn, went to 0 Aquarius the night he won. There's something about all this with Jupiter and Saturn moving from 29 Capricorn to 0 Aquarius. Seemed to favor him in a weird way. I'm not trying to question that right now. I'm just trying to tell you to think about that. That everything that you think is solid, especially in Capricorn, when it comes into Aquarius, it ain't. And with Uranus being there in Taurus and retrograde and Venus this week, quincunx Uranus in Sag, oh boy. Now the good news, there's a lot of good news in this, but I had to cover all the stuff that is just not going to work anymore, and we're tired of this crazy crap. We're tired. And we need to wake up, and we need to have each other's backs right now. That's what this is the warning call for. But the positive is that the rebel within you, the connective one within you, the pirate within you. People ask, what's up with the bandana? No, I'm not part of the fucking Proud Boys. I didn't even know who they were until fucking the debate. You know what I'm talking about? So, it's me trying to show you the pirate within me. The edge. Yes, there was a lunar eclipse in 2018 on July 27th that was with a Mars retrograde and a south node square Uranus with the sun in Leo. You have to look at, you tried to fix things that didn't work. Do you really think that with all this Aquarius, square Uranus and Taurus, that what they're trying to say is going to fix things around the world is going to work? Look at your own life. What did you try to fix? Did it work? What do you think a pirate is? A pirate is somebody who just looks at the world and goes, what the fuck? Ain't working the way I want to work because this is just making no sense. They never talk about the backstory of pirates. Pirates go to places where it makes more common sense. This is the people, unfortunately, are ruled by Uranus, and this is Saturn and Jupiter that are much more powerful here, squaring this energy coming into 2021 in this grand conjunction for the next 20 years. It's also going to be, I think, if I show you in the charts, Moon at, I think, like 27 Pisces. Ouch. So humanity doesn't have all the right cards. Doesn't mean we can't win the game, though. Just means that, you know what? Oh, we just didn't get, in blackjack, we just didn't get a king and a face card and an ace. We didn't get that. No, we got like a 2 and like a 4. We're like, okay, great. And the first 3 cards have been laid out, and we're hoping for the river card to work. So we need to start like looking around the table and being like, do we invest in this group of people or these people or this person, or do we all work together and figure this out and all ask each other and all have each other's back? We got to have each other's back right now. There's people out there that aren't allowed to do things in their lives. There's also people that are going and dying and all this kind of stuff. But, it's not one group. It's not one group that's going to save everybody. It's not one thing that's some crazy lab and a scientist that's going to save everyone. That's just not common sense. That makes no sense at all. Zero. That makes no sense at all. That is a zero. That makes no sense. This is dividing families. This is dividing everybody. And if you can't see that there's been a force of Jupiter, Saturn, and Pluto that was secret and that had a plan, then I don't know who you are anymore. I really don't know if you are awake. I really don't know if you even play with astrology at all or even understand that. Or if you're that easily persuaded to be the sheep, literally. Because the plan was to control you. And have you follow in line. No, you can't do this, and restrict you like a fucking Saturnian Kronos who eats his own children. So, let's just take that. That's the mythology of Kronos. That's the mythology of Saturn. Do you think it's crazy to think that there's people out there who literally want to control you so much or just that much to where they don't like you and that they actually do want to try and take you down in a weird way? That's the mythology. For control of the universe, and are willing to even banish their own father to take control. So, this Aquarius energy is refreshing. Only if the collective learns to start to work together. Only if you start to band with your friends. Only if you start to band with the people in life, that want to live, that want freedom. And I'm not even talking from an American standpoint. I'm not even talking in a standpoint of that kind of political aspect. I'm talking from a human standpoint. I'm talking from a soul standpoint. That you can't be afraid. That you need to know what your value is in this collective now. That's what this is about. And the good part of Capricorn with the sun being here and with Saturn and Jupiter out and with just Pluto there is Pluto finally is like, okay, who's the real motherfuckers? Who are down to put the plan of putting the collective together, to bringing back togetherness of people, and not through mad science experiments, not through putting that as the new religion, not watching spiritual people who said they can manifest everything, but throw all that out the window to some crazy laboratory or some robot. Literally. Or more importantly, giving way too much power to people who don't have you back. They don't have your back and they read from a fucking teleprompter and they get paid for it, so they have to say it. And that's not their words. And they're too afraid in this environment now to lose that job because where would they go? They don't have the balls to create their own network. They don't have the balls to go out there and speak on their own. Those people are weak. They're not part of the collective. They're against the collective. And this has nothing to do about political. This has everything to do about humanity. And this, I hope this message gets out to you to rise up within you. Whether you're left or right. It has nothing to do about what we've been seeing. It has everything to do about making sure we wake up. This is a Morpheus moment. For real. And it's not a joke. It's not some little weak. But we're dealing with a lot of people who are little and weak. And you have fallen victim to them. Because you are strong, you are wise, and you are powerful, and it's your power of questioning. It's your power of making sense through your own mind and the divine. It is you finding your destiny. It is you knowing that, you know what? Everybody's destiny is different. Everybody got different sets of skills and values. Now everybody's obsessed with trying to have the same values what they see in somebody else. That's not how Aquarius works. That's like if you were on a painting and you were like, I don't know, one little speck of paint from Leonardo da Vinci's Last Supper and you were on the table, but you wanted to be on Jesus' eyeball. And everybody wants to turn themselves into Jesus' eyeball part of the painting. We all have a place in the painting, and we are all equally valuable as human beings. To help, to assist, and to do great things on the planet. Not one group of people, which I have to say, I got to give the people in the world that are doing the work all the credit, because not only are they helping people during these crazy times in the settings that they're in, but they also have to be the therapists, because we're not even allowed to go see the people that we love pass. We're not even allowed to see anybody that we really want to without being told that we're the plague, that we're the devil, that we're the evil ones. That only comes from evil itself. Because with this sun coming into Capricorn on the galactic center, this December 21st solstice, it is 8 years since 2012 in the Mayan prophecy. It is Jupiter and Saturn conjunct in Aquarius. It is the moon square the sun. It is the sun and Mercury days before on the galactic center meeting up for you to remember your galactic understanding from the past with the South Node and project it to the future into the new environment. And to be a disruptor of this environment by being unique, by knowing your uniqueness, by knowing the power from within yourself. And stop following. And that includes, oh my gosh, I see this person do something. It's great to have that inspiration from others. It's wonderful. It's another to just follow them and copy them. This is where copycats come around. This is where counterfeiting is going to be huge. This is all in my 2018 through 2023, rising through the darkness. And my last thing I have to say, because I mean, there's so much in the astrology, we'll go through the charts, but money is a big deal, or what we define money as, but it has to deal with the value within yourself. You know, when I was literally, I had nothing. I remember going on Craigslist, was about to lose my apartment, which I ended up losing. And I found an awesome guy named Dr. E, and he's like still one of my homeboys. I love that man for life. And it was one of those jobs where you normally wouldn't go, you know, because it wasn't like official, didn't have an office, nothing. He just said, meet me at this restaurant. So I met him there. We talked, and we did great things. And he taught me, and this is 2010, and I remember I was waiting for ABC True Beauty to come live May 31st of 2010, so this is like February of 2010. Mars had just finished its retrograde through Leo, so I was pretty battered as a Leo, right? Like gone through the retrograde. And he told me how to take prepaid cell phones that you buy at Walmart and sell them on eBay and make money. And I did. I went and I took my mix CDs. I'd been DJing for a year before that, but I started taking my mix CDs to every DJ and every club, and I started getting gigs. You got to hustle. You got to figure it out. You're honest a Taurus. Don't be on the wrong side of the tracks when it comes to how the monetary thing works. Don't keep waiting on a handout. Because with the square to Saturn and Jupiter here in Aquarius, why do you think today was the hugest day in crypto? The last day of Saturn in Capricorn? People who want to create their own independence, financial freedom, is where to go. That's always going to be the lesson of Taurus, no matter what planet's in there. And with Uranus, you either rise high through finding your independence and through finding your ability and your skill sets and applying them, or you get nothing and you're a complainer. And you really have low self-worth. And if you don't like the way that you look, change the way you look. I know that's triggering. But there's lots of ways to do that are free. You can run around the block every night. Or if you need to gain weight, you can eat. Or if you don't like the way something looks, then, I don't know, go buy some hair dye online. Or have a friend that does hair change something up for you. Or go to Salvation Army and get clothes. They're different. Do something different. Try something different. Because the only thing that's going to work in Aquarius, Jupiter, Saturn for the next 20 years is everything that you do, you got to try differently. You got to edit in a new way. You got to find your skills and apply them. But waiting for handouts, hoping that the universe will take care of you by just sitting around and doing nothing is definitely not what this transit's going to do. Let's go into the charts. Hell yes. Guess that was not a good one tonight. I was like, kind of like, oh. I told Anne before doing this, I was like, oh, you know, I'll be really fast. It's just deep astrology this week. And then I'm like, oh, wait, this is the biggest week in astrology of all time. So, it's already starting, actually, as we're setting everything up. I'm looking at just all these crazy things. You know what? I'm going to just say it right now. The Twitter astrology is a joke. It's just a bunch of people in pain. That's all they do. All they do. Just pain. I get it. Chiron went direct. But let's take a look at this 3D. So here we are, December 16th. And there we go. So as you look from Earth's point of view, you can see Jupiter's right across that Saturn, right? And we can move this. Yep, okay. Yep. Okay, and apply. Let's move it forward by hours. So, see how they're coming together? Look at that. Look at this. Bing. Boom. Oh, let me go back. So, here we go. So as you can see on the 18th of December, and then from Earth's point of view, look at that Jupiter exactly in front of Saturn. You'll be able to see that in the sky, but it's right after sunset. Boom. There's the 20th. There it is. Look at that. See that line? How perfect it is? And there's the sun coming into Capricorn. I'm looking at a three-dimensional version, though, from Earth's point of view. And look at the moon. That's a first quarter square. Because you could see that moon exactly going to be at quarter square. You see that? So from Earth's point of view, look at that. So like, here we go. So that's the direct, why is it doing that? Boom. Yep, perfect. So here we go, boom. So, and then there's the first quarter square. So see, that's a square. 90-degree angle, right? You can actually see it in physical form. Now, as that's happening on, look at that, how funny I did at 4:44 a.m. How funny is that? But here we go, let's move out, let's delete that screenshot, and let's look at it from this aspect here. We'll give it a little bit of, to give it a little bit more of a clarity spectrum. There we are. Oh, it's like pretty much like right there. This is hard because they don't let you do it from Earth's point of view exactly. I got to do it myself. Like I'm trying to teach people what this is about, Jupiter and Uranus. squaring, and Saturn now in Aquarius is going to square, Uranus. So you learn how to do things yourself and your own values. But so, here we go. Yeah, here we go. Boom. So look at that. So that line is perfect. There's Saturn, there's Jupiter, and that's direct in the middle, I would say, right there, Earth. I'm pretty good. I'd say I got it pretty good right there, right? Now, what's the other thing that's going on here? So that's what's happening. There's the moon. That's exactly, I already showed you, exactly. I know I can't draw it three-dimensionally. I'm doing 2D, and getting the sun hitting that thing right there. So this is a magical moment. Not only that, but let's watch this. So let's move this. Oh, let's do that right here. Oh, let's get this right on the line. Well, we'll try that first. So this is the galactic center line right here. So we're going to change colors on this, make this a little bit easier to see. Okay, here we go. So this pink line coming down, okay, this is the galaxy. It actually is tilted this way, all right? Then from the sun's point of view, this purple line here, we'll make this the blue line, right? This is the ecliptic from the sun and the planets, except for Pluto, of course, and other bodily objects. But do you see how Earth and the December 21st alignment and what the Mayans are talking about hits directly where those lines intersect? Bang. Now, if you look at it from, 2017, Saturn, from which is right here, was directly right here. Okay, so that would be like Saturn, right? So that's what we saw on December 21st of 2017. Now it's been 3 years. Now Saturn's here, and it's on that exact moment when we are now looking at it directly here. And then see that? Boom, 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 boom. Because that's what it is. And why is Voyager 1 way up there? See that way up there? Because that is the first probe we ever sent in the 70s that actually is out of our solar system right now. And it had to follow the planetary lines. Now, I know there's been another thing that I kind of want to address, okay? That you've been seeing this video online about how all the planets are in alignment and there's going to create this weird little fifth dimensional portal and all this kind of stuff, okay? All right, I showed you all that from the sun's point of view, look at the sun's point of view to Jupiter and Saturn. It's not in alignment. So you would be able to take Earth, Jupiter, Saturn. That's in alignment. I guess you could take Venus and Pluto right there. That's in alignment. Mars square Pluto, from Earth's point of view though, but look at Mars, Pluto, that's in alignment. But everything's kind of like not this direct alignment thing, like as if I were to kind of take this right here, and I'm just going to give you my truth. I've been seeing this video popping around on Instagram and shit. So like you'd expect like maybe if Pluto was like right here, and maybe if like Mars was like right here, maybe if Venus was like right here, right? Then you would be like, okay, yeah, everything is fucking bang. But no, it's kind of like ting tung, you know what I mean? Like tung 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 tung. Like there's the real thing is just the Jupiter, Saturn from Earth's point of view that connects with Earth. Mars, Pluto, but even that's kind of off, right? You have to look from Earth's point of view, which I'll show you. So like from Earth's point of view, yeah, like, okay, it looks like the square is coming, right? Because if you turn this around, right? So if you were to like snapshot that, right, you'd be like, you gotta like be like from Earth like this and how it looks at things. You'd have to back off. And you'd get a 90-degree square. Because you would be able from, and this is kind of hard, but so this is Earth, right? So as it's looking, it's like, okay, here's Mars, and then way out there is Pluto, right? And so it looks like that's a little square point, right? So, but the main thing here is, to finish this off, and we'll go on the other charts, is this galactic center energy. Also, remember, Mars is with Aries. So if we look back at Mars, it's going to be with Aries. I wonder if they show Aries on here. They should. It's way far, but it might be far. Oh, from Earth's point of view. So that's another one that's happening on December 21st. So let's look at that. Again, this one is definitely. Oh, come on. I'm doing this by fingers on an iPad. Oh, come on. I mean, we'll take that. You all see, right? Here, there we go. Oh man. Well, we'll take it anyway. So here we are. Here's Aries. Here's Mars and the Earth. All on the same day. So really, December 21st is a big day in so many different aspects. So what I'm going to do right now is we are going to show you the charts, and we are doing it for free for everybody today. Please join highvibe.tv if you want to be part of always being able to be part of the show, to watch it with the charts. I know I've been giving a lot of it free lately, but I just want to show you that that's the human being I am as an astrologer. And I always say, like, you know, when it comes to crazy times, I'm there. Because I know that there's people that are struggling, and I just want you to know I care about that stuff. But definitely what keeps this all going, though, and we're cheaper than most people's Patreons and everything. We're $9.99 a month if you want to pay monthly. Or you could pay 3 months, and it's down to, I think, like 7 something, and if you pay down 6 months, it's down to like 6 something a month, and you get all the content. We're doing like 40 shows a week, and I just appreciate you all joining High Vibe. So let's look at this tonight here, Wednesday night. Now it's like coming into Thursday for me, but look what happened. Saturn came into Aquarius with the moon at the last degree of Capricorn, and the moon passing over is installing Saturn in Aquarius right away. So you're probably already going to feel really different already coming into this energy. And the moon with Jupiter, and Jupiter's about to come over on Saturday. So this is a lot. This is the big deal. Saturn's here. It's not coming back into Capricorn. We're not going to see this for 20.5 years, 27 years, okay? That's a long time away. Sun and Mercury all this week going along with each other. Mercury's catching up, trying to get with the sun. Let's see what that speed of Mercury is. Which is kind of interesting because, you know, the sun is about 1 degree a day, right? And here's Mercury doing 1.5, but it's trying to catch up. And they're going to catch up quick. We got Venus, of course, in Sag. It's at fast speed. We got Mars slow in Aries. It's almost there. Remember, Mars is about 33 to 30, 38 degrees, I would say, when it's at full speed. So it's almost there. It's doing almost, a new degree every like 3 days right now. So that's pretty fast. Not fully fast yet. Here's Jupiter in Capricorn trying to get its speed going. It's pretty much almost there. But the Saturn in Aquarius is not, it's definitely not out of its shadow, because Saturn went retrograde at 1 degree in like 52 minutes, I think, if it was right. So Saturn's not out of shadow yet. So even though the moon's going to pass it, we're going to see the Saturn and Capricorn thing much more incredible. Jupiter will be not in shadow. So really, Jupiter's going to have a lot of power of amplification. But there's something about Saturn that's going to bring up a lot of the energy that we went through. And when Saturn came into Aquarius, like through March and April especially, and into May right there. So that was not the time that we really enjoyed the most anyway, right? Like, so, like, we kind of have to, we're going to be dealing with those issues for a long time. So the whole idea that everything's just going to go away and some little injection is going to save the day. I'm sorry, it's not. It's going to be the humanity changing the world. At the end of it, 20 years from now, we'll realize, gosh, aren't we glad we changed it? Or it'll be like, we are so screwed we didn't. That's the question you have to start asking yourself and yourself. And it's not going to be by the governments and all that stuff. It's going to be by a collective and you. And your courage. You know, only 81% of people in the Revolutionary War even did anything. They didn't do anything. It was 19% who did. 81% sat around. So that was the big deal. Here's Thursday. And the sun's at 26. We're about a degree away from the galactic center here. Here's Mercury catching up. Here's the moon in Aquarius with Saturn now past it, installing that to where we feel it, and it's right away touching it. And moon and Saturn's hard, right? Like it's like, okay, I gotta this is a new chapter. This is gonna be Saturn here for about a little over 2 years, right? So. But the big deal is the moon's going to square Uranus in Taurus. And Uranus at Taurus is 7 degrees. It's almost to that 6 degree mark where it's going to station and go direct in January. But it's not there yet. And I think that this is important because it's a moment for us to realize what I've been talking about. The collective and your values and how you're going to come into the world. And you set the precedent of the value in the world by knowing how to do that, not forcing it upon people, not forcing people what they need to believe. South Node and Sag with the square to Neptune. This is where people's crazy, weird sensitivities come out. Chiron's direct. Look at Mars 21. It's getting ready for that Aries conjunction like I showed you and getting ready to square Pluto. And here's Jupiter at 29, right? Ready to get out of Capricorn. It can't wait. Remember, it's at fall position, right? You look at Jupiter, and all year, Jupiter, all year has been at -9, okay? It's the fall position of Jupiter. It's not happy here. But now that the sun is finishing here in Sagittarius at a +3, look at Mercury. It is -10. It's worse than Jupiter. It does not like to be here, and it's getting blown out by the sun. Not in front of Earth, sun, on the opposite side. So Earth cannot see Mercury at all, okay? Venus, -5. I know that people love Venus and Sag, but it's with the South Node right now, but mainly it's not happy. And the moon is -5 too, because with Saturn, and it's squaring Uranus. So look at Saturn, +10. More power than usually you see. We usually see +8, +9. This Saturn Aquarius is going to be strong, and it's in shadow. And Mars, +7. More malefic energy. But malefic energy teaches you to be strong. It teaches you to find the big things in life to focus on, take action towards and move towards and build a plan and execute decisions that are going to advance your life without giving away your sovereignty and without giving away your value. And, oh, you know what? I'm going to take the shittier deal. Because I've been seeing so many people that I know personally taking shitty deals. Like, I'll just take the shitty deal. I'll just take it. I'll just take it just to have it right now. How is that setting the precedent for you moving forward in this new world? Really? You're going to take the shitty deal moving forward? Take the best deals in life. The best for yourself. Friday, here's the sun coming on top of that galactic center. Now, I am somebody who has always been much more of a 0-degree Capricorn galactic center just because of the fact that it's the solstice with Earth, and it aligns, as you can see, perfectly with the intersect of the galactic line and the ecliptic line. But, you know, 27 and 28 degrees, that's galactic center from an astrology standpoint. We got Mercury here at 26. We got Venus here at 3 degrees, and we have Juno moving in with Venus. So, you know, these are writing new stories. Remember that. And there's a lot of new stories with Saturn in a new chapter, and this is the last day of Jupiter in Capricorn, because what is Jupiter doing? Jupiter is right here doing 13 minutes a day, and here it is 10 minutes away from moving to 0, 0, 0, 0, right? We have already Saturn at doing 10 minutes right there, boom. So the moon at 21 is going to be making good aspects here to the sun and Mercury. So I think that Friday is this in-between moment. Here's this new chapter, and the main thing that's going on, of course, is as we look at this Friday and we look at this energy, it's the sun and Mercury coming together, and it's Jupiter getting ready to come into Aquarius. And there's this moment in your life where you have to look at your long-term destiny and be ready for the new chapter or not. If you don't feel like it's giving you the value that you want, you'll know. Black Moon Lilith sitting right on top of Uranus. Mars now 22, getting ready on top of Aries, starting to square Pluto. Don't do things fully that you do not want. Do not accept things in life that you do not want. Mars in Aries says no. You know, it's interesting because I know that we get thrown around the spiritual community that the ego is some bad thing and everything. The ego is your protector of your sovereign identity and sovereign self and not being programmed. If it aligns with what you want in your life and it aligns with what's positive for you and you know it's your true self and you've listened to that, it's fine. But if you go against that, especially with Mercury and the sun, Mercury's blown out. You know, this Cassini is not the bomb, right? So if we look at Mercury here, it's at -10. Venus is at -5. Here's still Jupiter on the last day, -9, but it's going to shift fast. And the moon's getting much more positive aspects because you get some positive aspects here. But look at Saturn +10. Man, these are big choices about your future. You've already learned your karma, your destiny. And now you got to look at what is going to advance you forward. And it's about, sometimes you have to look at people and you got to look at groups. And they're at a time when they're telling you not to. That's the whole Dark's plan. Think about it. That's why I always say, listen to the universe. Let God be your guide. Let the consciousness be your guide. Not like that's even literally what Jiminy Cricket says to Pinocchio. Well, that's what he's taught to be by I think it's the blue fairy, right? Like, let consciousness be your guide. Let your conscience be your guide. That conscience is by a blue fairy, which is a star. I'm starting to scream. Mars must be getting ready to be on Aries, and Mars is trying it on my Leo shit, and Sun's trying my rising and all that shit. You know, like I am 26 Leo rising. I'm trying that Sun. I'm definitely in that fire mode, baby, trying to give you all this shit before it gets to when they talk about, in Game of Thrones, the winter's coming, oh, it is. It's the sun's coming into Capricorn and the Saturn is moving into Aquarius, which is the coldest sign because it is the middle of winter. So you have to remember, winter is coming, and anybody who's touting that off, we already know the guy who said it would be a dark winter. Like, come on. That's what that person wants to manifest. Have you ever thought about that one? The other guy is all praising the you-know-what to be injected. So we're screwed by both right now. Have you thought about that one? So, Friday is your test before the big show. This is a big show. I've already shown you literally from three-dimensional solar charts and told you and channeled you what's coming, that you got to start with this Jupiter leaving Capricorn and moving to Aquarius. Like, what is the new thing that you are going to take on and be willing to jump on to this radical new energy in your life and connection point? Or are you just going to stay disconnected and allow a disconnected state to let some other entity. So entities come up with Aquarius. Why do you guys think I've been showing, you know what, and let's take this off for 1 second so I can find this. I just want to make sure I can find it. Here we go. It's called, oh, I hate that they like me searching. I don't like to search there. Let's get rid of that, get rid of that, get rid of that, get rid of that, get rid of that. All right, here we go. All right, so we want to do Event Horizon movie images. Okay, yeah, we can put it on. So, remember this movie, Event Horizon? The whole idea was to go look into the ship to see what happened on the ship. Well, they connected to a ship that they didn't want to connect with, right? If you look at the whole thing, right? It's like this ship was just out there, and then they connect to that ship, and everything on that ship is not where they're. Infinite space, infinite terror. Remember this scene? Oh, man. It was like a gateway to hell. Ironically enough, hate to tell you all, Saturn rules hell. So do you want to be disconnected from what your heart says and allow the forces that are telling you what to connect with, which is through what they want you to do? Like, go connect to this ship. It's called the Red Horizon. Go connect there. Go connect there. Go line up for it. Go do this. Go do that. If I was the captain during that movie, I would have been like, I'm not going to that ship. It already looks like a staged event. Look at this. Event Horizon on the freaking, you know what I mean? Like, welcome. Welcome. No, not an AOL. Welcome. No. Do you remember what happens to all of them on there? They lose their minds. Because there's this thing. And what is that thing? Right? It's that weird portal thing that tries to jump space and time in this room right here. And look at all these spikes. But, you know, it's this thing. Have you guys ever thought what this might be right now on planet Earth? No, it's not Newsom. Might be. No, but it's not. It's this. I brought... Last year in October, I did a lot of talks about this. Here it is. It was October of 2019. Google says an advanced computer has achieved quantum supremacy for the first time, surpassing the performance of conventional devices. The technology's giant Sycamore quantum processor was able to perform a specific task in 200 seconds that would take the world's best supercomputer 10,000 years to compete. Oh, it would be probably on that, and because I'm still showing it. Oh, maybe it's just, you got me now? It was BBC. They don't like that app being showed, I guess. So, okay, quantum supremacy, which would allow new kinds of computers to do calculations at speeds that are inconceivable with today's technology. Do you like how the New York Times, trust them, they won't give you what was actually said. They just said, which is inconceivable, which would take how many years? Hold on. 10,000 years, which now takes 200 seconds. So I did a long talk about this on my After Darks last year in October. And I said, oh, okay, well, think about this. And I said all this before all this 2020 shit came, and I even brought it up. So I want you to think about this. Okay, well, let's finish this first. A quantum machine could take 1 day drive big advances in areas like artificial intelligence and make even the most powerful supercomputers look like toys. The Google device did in 3 minutes and 20 seconds a mathematical calculation that supercomputers cannot compete in under 10,000 years. They're saying it's the announcement like the Wright brothers. Do you think one day we're going to have to take that supercomputer and throw it in here on a ship and send it out to space? Like, get this fucking thing out of here. Have you thought about that? All the data that they're putting in there? So think about this. That's massive amount of computing. Every single thing that we've been hearing this year about technology, and especially more importantly about social media, every comment, every post, every picture, every video, everything you've ever said in a messenger, everything you've said in a DM, add the whole collective, throw all the billions of people in there, and throw all that data into that computer, and then compute it all. Be the person behind that computer and be like, what triggers people's emotions to have breakups? It will take all the data and take all the messages and take all the posts and take all the comments from other people and all their emotional reactions and all that stuff, and within milliseconds be like, usually over money, fear of pathogen, whatever it might be, all those fucking things, and spit out whatever it wants it to say. And then they go out there and play with it. It's why it doesn't feel like humanity at this moment. And I know that we keep looking at humans because of what they're doing. It's the humans that are backing the humans that are typing the things in this thing, in this thing. Because if we actually look at this thing, there was it as a baby. Remember I was talking about alien babies? Alien babies are going to be blowing out of your stomachs. There she is. So why do we need all that computing power? What are they going to do with it? What is Google? They have all the, every search, everything. Artificial intelligence, all that kind of stuff. Do you think it's smart enough to sway even the person that's putting in things? Do you remember there was an old movie? This one was called, back in the day, it was called War Games. It's an old movie. It's a fun one. Remember the kid at home playing on his computer, starts World War III, and the computer takes over, and they have to determine whether they're going to send the bombs out and all that stuff because, oh my gosh, it looks like we are being attacked, and it starts playing the game. Look at this. This is you right now as you looked at 2020. This is you. And this is where he has to go to the facility and get there, and then they have him. Remember, they find out that he does it, and he's becomes some sort of war criminal and all that stuff. But he's the only one that can fix it. And the game does chess, poker, fighter combat, guerrilla engagement, desert warfare, air-to-air actions, theater-wide tactical warfare, theater-wide biotoxic and chemical warfare, global thermonuclear war. That was what he had to go. But if you remember in that thing, he tried to play chess with it. It wouldn't do that anymore. It wanted to play that. So what do you think? Because with Jupiter and Saturn, you have to start to think now that it's coming into Aquarius. What's driving the energy behind people that are telling you not to do things is a computer. And if you remember what they look like when they see that computer, that is what happens. And they're taken over. So I know that we like to think of alien energy as like some three-dimensional green being. It's technology that is connected to the advancement of, since we found what we call as UFOs or aliens. Anyways, it was technology. The alien that you're looking at right here is the alien of the future. That is dividing us, that knows everything about us, and is smart enough to already know. Believe it or not. So, when we get back to the astrology, when I talked about the entities, so let's say here's that gross ship, Event Horizon. And this is the world we know it today telling you what not to do. Right? So it's telling you what not to do, and it's got that little supercomputer behind it that's telling everybody in the world and politics and all that stuff and all the sheep in the media and the people that follow the sheep in the media, all that shit, okay? And here's you and your sovereign soul. And you already feel this weird divide. Like, but you don't realize this thing even looks like the way I just drew that, right? What does this look like that they're showing you? This is where you go, no. I know my value and I know myself, and I'm not going to get lost in the twistedness, because with Neptune squaring the nodes, if it's coming from the media, it is not in your interest, because it's selling a religion, which is based upon a computer religion, and it's on the galactic center, the Sun, Mercury, as they're coming together. And Venus here and Sag too. Sag, Mercury is a hard time. It's too much energy to try and understand from a mental human brain. Right? And the North Node's in Gemini, so we have to just use common sense, and not common sense that's coming from some sort of ideological or professor or some sort of, element that is trying to produce some sort of weird, like a belief system. It's creating a belief. They don't even know what the hell they're doing. And that's what this Saturn and Moon is. And with Jupiter, you need to start to find your allies, the people who did not get on the event horizon. I hate to say it. They're already on. They don't even know. Right? They're already on. And Saturn in Aquarius is a fixed Saturn. So you got to fixate on what connects your soul to where you want to go. And the Moon here is going to touch on this. And so this can be very exciting for those that are like going to go on the place where they know we're on the same page, and that they are not, I hate to say it, but we are in a world now that it's going to be all Aquarius and no more Capricorn, just Pluto. And we're moving into a space where it's like people who know, it's like street smarts. It's like, you know what? Fuck yeah, I know, we're on the same page, and then are not going to fucking judge you. We're already being judged by a fucking crazy fucking entity that has infiltrated our government, it's infiltrated our media, and I know we can blame it on that guy or this person or this woman or that thing or that organization. They don't even all know they've been infiltrated by some other force. And the dark, and the way that astrology works is Aquarius and Capricorn equal to cold, right? And Leo and Cancer are the hot, right? Because it's the summer, and that's also where the sun and the moon, the king and the queen are, and these are where the two opposition points are from Saturn, okay, and opposition. So computers need to stay cold. This new thing that they're making, I will just draw it, and I'll just put that out again. What is this? It needs to be refrigerated. How much? This, you know what, remains stable at 2 degrees to 8 degrees Celsius, which is 36 degrees to 46 degrees Fahrenheit. It's stable, but they have to put it back in. So, cold storage. Cold. Requires extreme cold. Look at how they want you to pay because they don't want you to know. Most people aren't going to pay, right? Wow. You see that now? Everything. Okay, here we go. It must be stored in an ultra cold temperature of negative 70 degrees Celsius. That means the you know what must be kept in specialized freezers that cost as much as 20,000 cash. So anything coming from the cold, or somebody's going to be cold to you energetically and judge you, Saturn, judge you and not be, and be like, try and restrict you from being a human and telling you that this is the way a human needs to be. A human needs to be the way a human needs to be. Literally, just you're a human, so be how you're going to be. And Pluto's still, I hate to say it, and this will be the ultimate trigger, right? Pluto is still in Capricorn. And guess what? Morals and values, especially morality, is still being redetermined. And it's not over yet. So anybody who says that they know what the new values are and the new morals are and stuff, they don't know. Here's the big day, Saturday. Jupiter enters into Aquarius at 5:07 a.m. Pacific, 8:07 a.m. Eastern on Saturday, and there it is, right next to Saturn, but we are not seeing that till the 21st, that conjunction point, so Jupiter comes in, bang. All right, that's positive. If you look at already, Jupiter now moves from a -9 to a +3. All right, Saturn's there with a +7, Mars is a +7, Venus is there, the sun's at a +0, and the moon's at +3. So we have just Mercury at -2 and Venus. That's going to change things. The moon also, on the moment that Jupiter comes into Aquarius, it depends on where you're at in the world, of course, but the moon will be right here, 0:15, Pisces. So, at least the moon's not in the same sign as Jupiter and Saturn. And this brings up imagination and soul work and following your soul of humanity. There's a soul of humanity, and it is not by a political slogan, by a character. The fight for the soul of the nation. No, the fight for the soul of humanity and keeping it safe. By following its integrity of Uranus at the 7th degree, the last minute, 7 is spiritual number, and Neptunian number, and the moon's here. So it is good. The sun and Mercury are at that galactic center, 28, 27. Look at Black Moon Lilith on Uranus. The value is the rebel that moves forward by knowing its value and knowing it will not say no and give away its value. Black Moon Lilith's going to do what she wants to do, and she wants to do the freedom moment of her value. And Juno is going to square the moon here, and Venus and the moon square that day. So it's going to feel a little odd, or you might question some of the motives that you're doing in your own life, but you know what? You got to follow what's the best for you and your humanity, and you might need help. If you think help's coming from, some sort of like group in the world, like I'm sorry to say, or especially government's going to help you. Like, no, this is about you and your crew and your tribe of humanity that's going to help you through things. And I think that you're going to have to pay attention to that. Here we are on the 20th, and we are getting right hot and heavy, ready to go for Jupiter-Saturn. We are very close to that, right? 070018 degrees or minutes. So boom, we are very close to that conjunction. But look at this, the Sun and Mercury, boom, 28 degrees. This is the point where they meet at 28. This is exactly where Jupiter and Pluto met in December of 2007. And we just finished a Jupiter-Pluto here 3 times in this year, 13 years later, boom, 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 boom. And Jupiter and Pluto, I hate to say it, this is almost reminding us of the world that we used to see and all those opportunities with the South Node there. It's like these new opportunities are different. Because now we have to wait another 12 and a half years, let's say, until we get to another Jupiter-Pluto, and that's not going to be for a while. So until we get into Aquarius, right? The next Jupiter cycle. So Jupiter and Pluto will meet in Aquarius next, but this Capricorn one last, which is a closed world from the old one that was from December 2007 until we got to the Jupiter-Pluto. That was, I think, April, May? Or was it, yeah, it was like March, April, around there of 2020. That world, that 13 years was the biggest opportunities you had in the old world, and this is a closed world now. And this new world, you have to band together. Create your own world, your independent world. Because it's not going to be connected to structures, even though they're going to try and force that. You can create your own independent world and make your own way to influence the structures to work for you, or be a sheep and follow the structures and not make anything different. The moon is going to sextile Uranus, and here's Mars at 22 and 23 degrees Aries, starting to square Pluto. And here's Venus here's Venus at 5. So if we look down here, Mars is +7. Yeah. We got Venus still at -5 position-wise. We got Mercury here at -2 because with the Sun, and it's in detriment. But we also got the Sun getting ready to come into Capricorn here. So let's look at the big stuff here, and especially December 20th, Sunday, the last day before. Mercury comes into Capricorn exactly on the 20th while the moon is on Neptune. So Mercury does better in Capricorn because it's Saturnian, and now Saturn is in Aquarius. So this actually is going to be where we can start to plan out better parts of our life. And what better way than God giving us this one moment here, the day before Jupiter-Saturn meet, the day before the Sun comes into Capricorn, the day before we have Mars and Pluto start to square, for you to get your shit together and prepare for this new world and to start to do the things. And you got to listen to your intuition. You got to listen to what God is saying. God is giving you a place that is imaginary, and it is a vision, and it is a dream for you to go towards, and you must believe in that. If you are a cold, hard reality, Virgo-style energy, and you want to be on that same day-to-day fucking the fucking hamster wheel shit and doing what everybody else is doing and all that, is not going to fucking work. The last degree of Sag with the Sun and the South Node, and here's Venus here, and Venus is exactly quincunx Uranus, bang, with Black Moon Lilith. Your values of what you believe in have to change to your better world physically, sovereignly, and connecting with people that will offer you opportunities to move in a better place in your life instead of disconnect and go backwards into, I'm not that worth it, or I think I can figure this out all on my own. No, you can't. It's Uranus, and no, you can't with Venus. That's your belief systems, and realizing that you're searching for something that doesn't have a fucking answer. When there's answers, Mercury already sees it. It already understands it. It already sees the road. And don't get lost with the moon squaring the nodes. You know why? Because that's what it serves the pleasure of. And you need to focus on this Gemini North Node. And Mercury's now in Capricorn, so the dispositor is fucking in a Saturn-ruled energy to make choices. Don't get lost into, there's still more to search for. I still need more understanding, and I still need to go to school to figure it out myself. No, you don't. You've already been schooled by the universe and the truth and the more positive energy. Let's go. December 21st, 2020, the big deal. And I've got multiple charts to show you because there's multiple events happening. Boom. Sun enters into Capricorn. That is the solstice. We are in winter on the northern hemisphere, and we are in summer on the southern. There's a big deal with Mercury being right there. So this is the chart of the next, I guess you could say till the next season, right? Or you could also put it as till the next solstice in half a year. Remember, it was December 21st, 3 years ago, that Saturn met with the sun here. So that's done. And now it's Mercury. And why is that weird? Mercury met with Saturn and Pluto on January 12th of 2020. And it met with, so it was the Sun, Mercury, Saturn and Pluto. So now, even though Mercury's with Saturn, and now Mercury's the dispositor of the North Node, the Sun, as it comes out, as you can see here, it's a lot stronger. And Mercury loses some points just because it's in Saturn and the Sun's on top of it. Venus is at -5, but look at that Mars. Look at this Mars, +11. It's beating out Saturn. And that's with Jupiter on it at a +0. Why is that? Sure, Saturn's pretty strong. But Saturn is also starting to square that Mars Aries, which come together, 23. Saturn, Jupiter are going to conjunct. I'll show you that later in the next chart. But this is a lot happening at once. The moon at 23, getting ready to come to the end of Pisces. It's in sextile to Pluto. It's semi-sextile to Mars. And I think what's really important for people to pay attention to, when the sun comes into Capricorn here, it's like your destiny is going to be set based upon you thinking like an adult and seeing the choices that can better your life. And that is stimulating and exciting in the environment that you choose. It's going to seem crazy, though, because it's Jupiter and Saturn meeting, and it's Mars and Aries meeting, Mars and Aries, and it's Mars starting to square Pluto. You're going to have to get over your fears to take action. And Saturn wants you to move forward and do things about it. Here is the conjunction of Jupiter and Saturn, the grand conjunction. 10:20 a.m. Pacific, 1:20 p.m. Eastern. Boom. Jupiter and Saturn at 00:29, or boom. So we are officially there. The last time that Jupiter-Saturn met was in May of 2000. May of 2000. That's 20 and a half years ago. Here it is, while the sun just comes into the solstice, while at the same time, here comes Mars and Aries coming together, square Pluto, and the moon at the last degrees. That moon's void off course. Don't get lost. Follow Spirit. Spirit's your only guide. You're only lost because you keep looking for the reality to define itself. You define the reality by Mars and Aries, by Uranus and the Black Moon Lilith. You can't make that shit up. And Venus and quincunx still that too. Don't get lost, right? And keep searching for what's going to make you feel good. You already know by applying that wisdom of understanding and seeing what God's brought you and making choices. And these are big choices, Jupiter and Saturn, of how you're going to live the next 20 years. That last 20-year cycle's over. And Mars is squaring Pluto. So if we move to the next chart, bang, look at this. Then at 3:41 p.m., this is all happening on December 21st, we see the moon come into Aries at 0 degrees and square that sun on the solstice day at 0. And that's what I'm saying is how much is at 0? Wow, the sun Jupiter, Saturn, the moon. You can't make that up. Black moon Lilith exact with Uranus. You can't make it up. Mars exact with Aries. You can't make it up that Neptune and the nodes are squaring. Like, this is the moment here that is so important, December 21st of 2020 in your life, that this is going to turn your life in a whole direction. As long as you did your prepare work, as long as you did your Capricorn, as long as you learned how to know how to reach a better place in your life, move forward to better grounds, not backwards, not give your sovereignty away, but enhance your sovereignty and face your fears of the government, of control issues, and embed yourself into the power of choice of the powerful manifestation individual that you are and the courage that you must have to be that strong person. This is where it's at. This is going to bring up massive amount of military and all that kind of stuff, but more importantly, within you. And this is a moon in Aries now, square Sun in Capricorn. Saturn energy against Mars energy, and Mars is at plus 11. Look at that. Mars, bam, bam. Aries is adding to it, and the moon's there, and there's a lot there, and so this Aries energy is now stronger than the Capricorn. This Aries energy is stronger than the Aquarian. But Saturn comes to plus 10 during that, so it's very close. But at the end of the day, this moon in Aries is at the 0 point. Remember, Fukushima happened when Uranus changed over here. We're going to see some weird, it's not going to be Uranus, but it is interesting to see that we're going to see a Jupiter-Saturn, which is bigger than anything, and in the sign of Aquarius, which is very Uranian at 0 degree. And we're also going to see Uranus with Black Moon Lilith, and we're also going to see the moon at 0 Aries square the sun on a solstice. When we look at Tuesday, this moon is going to start to meet with Mars, but not, not until later that night, until the next day. The Jupiter's now past Saturn. That's a big deal, right? Jupiter's been catching up to Saturn for 10 years. So after the opposition, and then after the square, that was when Jupiter was in Leo and Saturn was in Scorpio. So that brings up 2015 energy a lot. And then Saturn went to Sag, and then Jupiter went to Virgo, right? And we went to mutable. We're not going there now. We're going to fixed. We're going from cardinal to fixed. So, you know, you got to think of that square point that was at Leo and Scorpio. There was that square. Remember, it was also flipped. Jupiter in Cap in 2006 was, in Scorpio, was square Saturn in Leo. So there's that interchangeable aspect of where Jupiter was in Leo in 2015 and Saturn was in Scorpio, and they squared again. And now these two energies have come together and they make natural opposition to Leo, square to Taurus, and square to Capricorn, or to Scorpio. So this is very important now as we move into this with this moon in Aries now. This is redefining your life completely in the world, okay? And you have to see the power that's there. Mars on Aries is going to be whoa, and then we're going to see it start to square Pluto exact as we come into when I see you next week on Wednesday. Exact. And the moon will be on top of it. And that's going to be pretty fucking strong and pretty powerful, and we're going to get ready for that moon to also square Jupiter and Saturn. And so things are going to start to lead down some crazy, weird roads. And it's going to take time for Jupiter and Saturn to even understand what it's all going to mean. But at the end of the day, it's a Sun in Capricorn, and it's leaving the galactic center, and you have to come into this new responsibility about your individuality and your sovereignty of that value in yourself and your skill sets, and not playing some sort of weird Chiron, now that's direct with the moon, victim, and especially allowing things to come into your life, Pluto, that you do not want, but allowing yourself to trust the things that you do want to come into your life and bringing them in This is the helio on the moment that Jupiter-Saturn conjunct. Remember, they are not together exact anymore. They already conjuncted over a month and a half ago from the sun's point of view. This is the sun's point of view. But if you look at this week, Mars comes into Gemini. Leaves detrimental Taurus. Look at this, no fire. A lot of air, earth, water, more feminine, fixed. A lot of fixed energy, even fixed house energy. Even though I'm running this, whatever. But long story short, Venus is in Scorpio. It's getting ready to oppose Uranus. So we're about to see a lot of crazy changes. And Mars is coming into Gemini, and it's going to blow our minds. And Mercury, remember, moves 4 degrees a day. It's in Sag going through the galactic center while Jupiter and Saturn are meeting up, and the sun is coming into, right? Because there's Earth. So Earth looks at the sun, and that's what looks at Capricorn, and that's why we say that the sun's in Capricorn. That's how it works in tropical astrology, okay? From that standpoint. And Aries, has moved 24, and it's squaring Pluto. And at the end of the day, it's going to feel like, where am I going? Where am I going? Oh, this is where the world's turning really quick, and this is what I'm offered. And take the gifts, and take the sovereignty, and take your value, and take the good stuff, and move forward into that, and find your individuality, and keep that individuality. It doesn't mean being disconnected. It means more being connected. And don't connect to some event horizon here that's trying to come in out of nowhere and have you dock ship to it, and it's going to fix you, when really they're having you try to fix their understandings of things that they don't even know about, but they actually know it's creepy and crazy. That's why I'm using that movie. They knew that ship had something weird going on. They sent them there anyway. That's what a lot of things are in the world right now. Don't do that. Don't fall for it. Don't fall in line for that. And fall in line with your own identity and your own self. That's all that you really have. And in people. That's what we got. And, to me, I think, this is the grand week of the grand conjunction and all that shit and so much stuff. But you know what gets me the most? It's Mars on Aries. It's Black Moon Lilith on Uranus. In Aries and in Taurus, the two first signs. Your own independent identity that you identify as and your values. And those are energies, these feminine energies that are very chaotic but are not chaotic and very powerful when you connect to your value and connect to your identity and your strength, and you do not let this Pluto and Capricorn and the old rules and the old guard try to fucking take you down and take you away from that and don't offer you that. And Jupiter and Saturn, they want to bring you to freedom. That's what they want. They want to bring you to freedom, and they want to bring you to a greater place in your life, to a higher level, a high vibe. And that can only happen now with the check of Uranus and Taurus, which is like a check station. Are you somebody that follows and you give away your value, or do you create your own value and you make that value happen and you step into that value in yourself and you aren't a little wimp about it? You know your value. You don't become a follower at this moment. You become the rebel. The rebel that holds love, the rebel that holds light, the rebel that knows about destiny and knows that destiny from God doesn't feel like a fucking computer system. It doesn't feel like a bunch of numbers out of a computer being fucking put to you on a fucking media screen, fucking telling you exactly fucking what's happening in life when you haven't even seen it yourself. It's not surrounding you. So, this grand conjunction is going to be grand, all right. And I wouldn't be surprised about military action here in life. This is also Uranus that rules foreign energy, Jupiter, which rules culture and countries, now coming into Aquarius and squaring, and Saturn here, structures and government and all that shit, financial markets and all that, and all clashing and all starting to get fucking crazy. And that's what brings on world wars. So, you better find the people and find the tribe. And why do they want during this time for you to stay disconnected when the astrology says for you to connect? So you don't follow your destiny. So you don't get on the ship of it. So you stay succumbed. So you stay disconnected and you stay scared. And that's Mars square Pluto. And you take whatever they want to put in you and inject whatever they want to put in you energetically to structure-wise of how it should look. You have to define, you have to be the rebel that holds love because they're not holding love. It's a rebellious time to hold love right now. Is that crazy? It's a rebellious time to hold light. It's a rebellious time to hold compassion by loving the people that are in your life. You're told not to. You're told to do it through a computer. Oh. Guess maybe I'm crazy. Maybe that quad supercomputer is just craziness. Maybe that is not some alien and that is the revolutionary thing that is going to figure everything out for us. Really? That thing looks beautiful. That thing looks human. That thing looks like it's truly fucking on our side. Yeah, right. Anybody can put all that data in there that they have? And that thing computes so fast. Just think about it. And it's like an Excel sheet, right? You set up all your little things and then it will automatically figure it out. Imagine it's just like, I want to know what triggers people in the fear the most. Out of looking at all the messages, looking at history, looking at every encyclopedia, looking at every Wikipedia, looking at all the WikiLeaks. They just brought out a bunch of new shit, by the way. And looking at all that stuff, it can figure it so fast and spit out pathogen. They've been saying that in the psychological doctrine in all the papers, especially this last decade. That's what creates the authoritarian within you as a person. And did you become authoritarian? Did you start yelling at people because they don't do something? You're not doing that. You're not doing that. You shouldn't be that way. Okay, who's the authoritarian that we want to pick that's going to tell us what we have to do and what we have to be and what I have to wear and what I have to do to all this shit? That's scary shit. But it's not scary when you embody the individual and you're not afraid. Because you know what? People, when they're together and people, when they're not afraid together, that's what Uranus is exalted and awesome in Scorpio. Because when you get a bunch of people on the same page and on the same passion, you can't take it down. But when you get it in Taurus and everybody's all scared and everybody's trying to hold on to their vanity in a weird way and all that shit, and they don't know their value, or they're just playing victim, and with Chiron and Aries, man, oh man, it's so easy to just sweep up the collective. Just like, thank you. So, the only way to stop that is when that force by that is not God, that is against God, that is foreign, that is evil, that is not of the light, is going to try and do this, and the resistance is you by stepping into your true value and heart and saying no to the things that do not connect to the universe and to the world that you know is divine from the universe and God. And that is the beautiful gift of Jupiter with Saturn here. It is testing the integrity of your connection to the universe and you following the universe. And you know what? It might sound even more crazy than this, but Jupiter and Saturn in Aquarius means that look at how astrology's been. Look at how the cosmos have been. Look at that there's one side of the science and there's another side, and there's a divine science, there's a hermetic science, there's a natural philosophy, there's the way that is connected to a divine, and that is what the two wavelengths of Aquarius is, and that is the way that you must go, and that is the science to follow more than anything else. It's the most reliable, it always works, and it connects you with the divine, it always gets you where you need to go, and it is synchronistic, and it has signs everywhere. That's what to follow, that's what to be. That's this deep astrology. Follow us, highvibe.tv. We have an Instagram, of course, and you can follow all my stuff down below. Make sure you're part of highvibe.tv and get my awesome 4 hour and 50 minutes where I go into all 2021. If you want to know about the eclipses, you want to know about the Mercury retrograde, you want to know about everything about 2021 and how I just did this to you in a much more consolidated form, in a much more predictive form in every aspect of what's coming, go to highvibe.tv right now and go to the paid video section and purchase it. You can watch it on the apps down below or the website. I love you all very much. I truly appreciate you all from the bottom of my heart. I know I came through with the heat tonight, but just know I'm coming from a place of love, and I'm coming from a Leo place with this Jupiter and Saturn opposing me. I'm coming from a place of the alternate place that we must also connect with, which is Leo. That is what, anytime you look at planets and conjunction and stuff, look at the opposite too, to remember the reflection back. So, and that takes willpower, and that takes courage. And anybody who's trying to tell you what to do right now that doesn't have the courage to do it, or do it in front of your face, or do it more importantly, especially in social media right now and stuff, they're a loser. And let them just be a loser. You don't even have to fight up against them. Go show them that you are your unique self, and you might actually inspire them. I love you all. I'll see you on the next Deep Astrology. Share this everywhere if you can.